Hey everyone. So people like to use structure as an argument for invalidating commentary in a video, and it's a really dumb critique because I don't need to have a structured video for it to have good points. But regardless, if you can get through the whole video, you'll know why there's something off about the structure in my videos. But fair warning, this video is going to be unstructured because I just did a bunch of short recordings and I cannot write scripts, which I explained in this video. So with all that being said, you're just going to hear me make some points here and there. I'll probably put like a black gap in between each section and switch them around in the order that I think that they should be in. And funnily enough, I keep saying I was going to make a part two, but this is technically going to be part two now. So part two will actually be part three because of all the stupid comments that I was getting. Despite everything that happened through all of this controversy and all these people just attacking me every which way that they could, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the people who actually subscribe to me. It means a lot, and it means a lot that you guys were able to listen to it all despite what they said. It gives me hope for humanity, honestly. And to those commenters, I think that that mentality is part of what can fix what's wrong with YouTube. And hopefully in time we can find ways to expand that sort of a perspective so that people don't focus on these little insignificant things and make situations worse. So yeah, let's just get into it. If you're wondering why I'm saying that you are the problem, it's because the insane standard that you hold people to and your lack of comprehension skills, your inability to understand nuance and not have an emotional reaction to emotions and just logically listen to the logic in what someone's saying regardless of the emotion attached to the logical thought, makes it so that these commentary channels don't want to comment on smaller drama issues before they get bigger because they don't want to get the reaction that I'm getting right now. They just want to pad their wallet. If you guys were more understanding of different perspectives, people would not feel like they have to keep their thoughts to themselves. So they would probably take more of a risk to say something thought-provoking. But if they say anything that's thought-provoking, there's a good chance that they could have a wrong ideal or a bad moral. And then you guys are going to be like, but you do this and you say this and blah, 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 blah. As if no one has an opportunity to change or grow or improve. People aren't allowed to theorize and try to experiment with their morality because of the insane standards you hold people to. When you're not making videos, you don't know what it's like. It's not as easy as it seems at all. There's so much you miss. I am so happy that I saw this comment before I upload this video. So I don't know this person's situation, and I know some people are probably going to twist and say, but this person did this and this person did that. But their comment is profound because of the point that they're making, regardless of what happened in their particular circumstance. I'm just going to read this out to you guys. YouTube Teacher Remote says, I understand your points, appreciate this video, especially after being attacked by a 1+ million sub channel when I had 2,000 subs. They sent hate my way for something I didn't do. Others knew about it but felt it wasn't worth ruining their views or going against a large channel. All while preaching they crack down on nonsense and have great community. Virtue signal much? Recently, someone tried to call it out in a live stream and instead of asking if I was okay, stated, now that you have more subs, you can get views off of this. As if my feelings and hate I perceived previously made me not worthy to stop the nonsense. But now it's totally okay to give views on the drama of it. I can't. So the people who said to me, maybe they just didn't see it. They fucking see it and they don't care. You have to stop giving people the benefit of the doubt. Most of them see opportunities to speak up on things and purposefully choose not to. The benefit of the doubt is basically a human's way of saying, all this information in front of me pointing towards something, I'm just not going to believe it because it's too much for me to handle. And you have to fight against that. You should have a probability in your head for how likely someone's circumstance is true. Whether you think it's 30% likely, 40%, 90%, 20%, whatever, you should be like, I believe that this is this much true based off of what I'm seeing. Not, I'm gonna just give them the benefit of the doubt, because that's emotional thinking for all the people who think that they're logical thinkers. If you ever consciously give the benefit of the doubt, you're an emotional thinker. So congratulations, you played yourself. So when you see someone say, as if my feelings and hate I received previously made me not worthy to stop the nonsense. This is someone where they were a small channel and being attacked, and because they were small, because they were vulnerable and couldn't defend themselves, nobody cared. nobody would get anything out of sticking up for them. And that's what's happening to me. And this is happening to small channels all over YouTube. I even made a video about how Just Jargon was accusing small channels of just making content because they just want views and subs and money, which is literally his entire career. He's projecting himself to push down any competition for his lazy content. And I made a whole video explaining how there's so many other reasons for why people have inconsistent content. People struggle with depression and many other issues. These people just assume that when you have no power, no voice, and no fan base, basically nothing that can save you, nothing that can stick up for you, that you have no right to defend yourself, and that whatever people say about you is probably true. And it's disgusting. And that's the situation I'm in. So no, it's not just a sad milk situation. He's literally one of the few extremes that people see. But this stuff happens all over YouTube and no one's doing anything about it because it doesn't benefit them. So thank you so much for your comment. It honestly means a lot to me every single time I see someone tell me about their experience making content, because I've seen it happen to other channels too. I just don't have screenshots for it. So it's just nice to know that I'm not alone. So it's just like, because of that standard, you force people to then cater to you, which makes them want to be optimistic and nihilistic and promote these bad messages and just say what everyone else is saying because that's safer. They're scared to go against the grain and do something different because people, the number one fear that people have is the unknown. So when you have a different thought, it also just triggers people's fear response. They project the one thing that they don't want to hear you say. Like with most of the comments I told you, it's like they really didn't want to hear me say it. So as soon as I said a word related to it, they were like, ah, she's going to do it. She's going to do it. They weren't even watching the whole video. Like YouTube should really attach how much of the video you watched to your comment. That would hold these anonymous comments accountable to prove whether or not they're actually comprehending what you're saying. Every comment should have that. Then if you get on an alt account and are spamming somebody, it can also prove that you're an alt account spamming because you didn't watch the video on it. A new thought I just had, commenters who watch more of the video should have a higher rate of their comment being viewed than people who watch less of it. All that would create an incentive for people to actually have to sit through a video. It's just so funny that they falsely accused me of accusing them, the viewers, of causing the sad milk incident when I was actually saying it was commentary channel's fault. But then it made me realize that they're the root cause of it. They make these commentary channels who they are, which causes incidents like the sad milk one. So if you hadn't have said all this stuff, I wouldn't even be making this video right now. But yeah, it's your fault. But when you say this stuff, you make them make this content that's harmful, which then has them report on popular drama issues, which then again creates an incentive where we have a sad milk situation where it wouldn't have gotten that bad if people had reported on it earlier. And people were saying, but you don't know if people actually saw it. What if they didn't see it? Again, then they should add to it when it's popular. But I was saying that a lot of them aren't commenting on it because if you had to wait for part 2, I even said it in the live chat while it was premiering, in part 2, I'm going to show a guy who specifically said that if someone said the same thing about the sad milk situation, but their channel had, as he said, negative subs, he wouldn't have believed it. So he specifically said because it was a small channel, he wouldn't have listened, which means that he only was going to listen if it was a popular video. And I also know that they think this way because I said in part 1 that people are doing things that people disagree with every single day. For example, my video, there's a million disagreements that people had in the comment section that were bullshit, but it was a lot of disagreements. So imagine a commentary channel, highly quote unquote opinionated people watching content on YouTube all the time. They're seeing opinions that they disagree with a lot. They're seeing people virtue signal things that they think are not healthy. They see people talk about things that they think those perspectives are harmful and they choose not to talk about it. You can tell when you go on their channel and all they do is talk about popular drama. That means that they're looking for it. That means that they're keeping their mouth shut when it's small and they wait for it to get big. And I know they're going to twist all that too. They're not going to listen. And also people are going to say, well, how you're relaying it right now is a little bit more calmer than how you relayed it before. Yeah, if I talk about the stuff that I said earlier, I'm going to get triggered and start talking angrily again. I cannot control it. The world doesn't work the way you think. So if you're wondering why the video is titled that way, you are the problem. You're making YouTube worse. And that's why I hate human beings. And I'm not here for you. I'm not here to cater to you. So getting those comments, they were saying that. And then anyone who's listening to this and not watching, I'm showing the comments as proof. The first thing I said in the video is, this is a rant. And they're saying, oh, this is rage bait. I said it's a rant. If you don't want to listen, you can click off. So you're mad at me because you admittingly knew that the video was going to piss you off, hence you calling it rage bait. You were baited into watching it because you thought that it was enraging. And then you're angry that you don't have the self-control to just not watch it. Oh, well, you know, I couldn't help myself but watch your shit. So why'd you have to put it up? And then they gave me all this advice that would have just suppressed my video. Don't put Illuminati's name in it. Don't even talk about her. Why not talk about things around the issue? Why not talk about smaller channels than this guy? Okay, but I'm even smaller than him. So how you gonna call him a small channel when I have a fraction of the subs that he has? So you want me to just, and they're like, talk in a pleasant tone. So you want me to talk about something unrelated, about really small channels that nobody cares about, that I'm not passionate about talking about, in a pleasant, boring tone. First of all, you don't know anything about me. You don't know why it's impossible for me to do what you're even telling me to do because of who I am and how I grew up. So I cannot speak in that pleasant tone. Even if I tried, it's not going to happen. You don't know anything about mental illness. But on top of that, it goes against everything that I just said. And then some people were saying, talk about bigger incidents, talk about the ones who are making videos on this whole issue, and their videos are like the worst of the worst commenting on the issue. But I just said that when you only focus on the worst of the worst, you're making the drama worse. So you're telling me to do the very thing that I said is going to make the situation worse. Like, it's insane reading these stupid comments. And then they're getting offended that their comments are getting deleted when the first thing that people do when they go to a YouTube video is pause the video and read the comments to see if or not they should watch the video. That's how you cancel small channels, by the way, if you didn't know. A lot of people think you can't cancel a small channel. You don't know that because all those small channels are ones you're not watching because they've been canceled. If the comments tell you this person said this and they said that and they said all these things, oh, but you're being a hypocrite here because you said blah, 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 and it's got a bunch of likes and a bunch of other comments supporting it, the people are gonna be like, oh shit, I don't want to watch that, even though it didn't fucking happen because you guys don't know how to listen. And then there were so many comments where they do this thing. I really hate commenters because I keep telling you guys that most people are manipulative and toxic, but a lot of people don't see it. They think you're speculating, which you literally have to speculate to say that someone's speculating. It's impossible not to. But they were saying these manipulative things where they were like apologizing, like, oh, I'm sorry if I'm mistaken. But, and then they would just say a bunch of shit that I didn't do. They're like, you did this and this and this, and it comes up, blah, 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 blah. Got this one comment, this guy was just like, yeah, you know, I see that from your subscriber base, your subscribers may feel like this is where you're coming from, but to everyone else is coming across as elitist. And what are you talking about? The majority of the viewers, the majority of the commenters are not my subscribers unless they just subscribed. Most of those people just fucking got here. So, no, I'm not coming across a certain way to just first of all, that's so disingenuous because that's you basically saying, huh, yeah, people who are already attached to you might be understanding where you're coming from, but you're not doing a good job of conveying your point to strangers. I am, you're just not listening. The burden is on you. The words are there. You can rewind and rewatch to listen to the things you did not hear. You don't know how to turn off your lizard brain, and it's not going to go away. I was waiting to like do a video on this later on, and I still don't want to say this right now because this is really personal, but it's impossible for me to record myself in the tone that you want, which is why I say you're supposed to understand where people are coming from despite how they relay the information, because we don't all have control over our emotions. But without saying much, it's like I have mental issues where I cannot control the way that I speak. So it should be obvious if you watch any of my videos, any of them, you can hear my tone changing all throughout the video. I don't have control over that. So if I re-record, I'm going to get triggered into talking the same way. Like mentally, I'm going to get the same reaction and speak in the same way every time I record it, because the thing that's making me react that way is like triggering me to have a certain response that I can't control. So it's like when you're listening to me put up videos, you're listening to different versions of me. No, I don't have DID. Okay. Like I said, I want to explain this in a different video, but they're really getting on me for like having they're like, oh, your just emotions are all over the place. Yeah. Like that's who I am. I can't control that. Holy fuck. And I can't write a script because I have a really bad case of ADHD. So it really heavily affects reading and writing, which I talked about in this video. They were saying, you're so repetitive, but you're talking about them being repetitive. I specifically said something that was more nuanced than that. But it's like you guys don't even know what the word nuanced means. And you just look at the surface of shit, which is why we have to have thought-provoking conversations on drama, because of how stupid everyone is. So people need to be provoked to think deeper. That was my whole point. But they're just like, you're being repetitive, but you said they were being repetitive. And I specifically complained that he had nothing to add and was being repetitive about the nothing he had to add. If he had have added something at some point in the video that made it worth watching, I wouldn't have cared that he was repetitive. I never said you can't repeat yourself a single time. I never said that you can't be repetitive at all. I specifically said that he was repeating stuff that was unimportant, and that's all that he did. They were just like, but you also said unimportant things in the video. I never said you can't say one unimportant thing in a video, let alone several unimportant things in a video. I specified that if you have nothing to add, that is the problem. If you could add one fucking point, it would make the video worth it. That is not the same as me, quote unquote, saying he said something repetitive and then me saying something repetitive. So I never said you can't be repetitive ever. If you repeat yourself, then you shouldn't even put up your video. I was specifically saying, wow, this is such a waste of time because I'm just listening to the same thing over and over again and there's no point being made at all. Do you not get the difference between the two? Like, this just makes me think of, I just watched this movie called Idiocracy, and it's like people were always referencing that movie, and I didn't get the references because I hadn't watched it, but like, I swear to God, now I fucking get it. Like, I was saying that YouTube wasn't always like this. It's like every 3 months somebody's getting called a pedophile. Someone's getting accused of being a pedophile. We weren't always here. So we have to be able to find some way back to where we were. Not the same. It'll never be the same as it was. But we can find some way back out of this and maybe even make YouTube better if people put in the effort and actually address the nuance of issues. But they don't want to do that because that requires focusing on negative things and being more negative people. So what bothers me is that they're accusing me of having to put in all this effort into my videos. They're like, you gotta, why don't you make your video shorter? You dragged it out. I have a bunch of fucking issues that make it hard for me to edit down videos that short. Like, people are holding small channels to higher standards, which I talked about in the first video, but it literally takes more time and effort to edit down a long recording. And it's even harder if you're struggling with ADHD and a poor fucking setup because, I'm not a rich YouTuber. They have editors. They auto edit their videos. So I don't have access to all that. I'm doing the best that I can. You don't have to fucking watch. And not everyone likes short videos. Some people like things going in depth. So why am I going to cater to you? Someone who doesn't even want to hear what I have to say. It doesn't make sense. And so the whole thing was frustrating because for them to tell me to edit it down and they're like, but you want to criticize him. Like they were saying, your video could have been summed up in 10 minutes. How? All the points that I made several points. Even you brought up multiple points, about 5 or 6, the one I'm showing right now or something. So in 10 minutes, that means that I will only have like 1.5 minutes to address each of those topics. Really? I'm trying to dissect it and also show evidence of it in the video. Like, do you not hear how ridiculous of a standard that is? But that's what people do. When you are smaller, and I want to get more in depth about this stuff too. I've talked to you guys about this before when I was discussing the Black Mirror theory and all that stuff. But when you are smaller, you're vulnerable. And when you have this effect on people where you're triggering their cognitive dissonance, they just lose their fucking mind. They can't handle it. They can't handle someone shattering the reality that they've convinced themselves works. Once they have to realize the world doesn't work the way that they think it does, that's when they're going to do everything that they can to prove you wrong. So that's why this comment section is so toxic. And that's why you see me have these like responses in my comment section. Like, it's because these people are legitimately convincing themselves that things like positivity is the right way, just surface level positivity, and it's okay to just do what everyone else is doing and all this other stuff. And then when someone tells them no, that's really harmful, they can't handle it, so they're going to do everything they can to prove it wrong, when people are usually on the opposite side of history. So if you post a comment and most people agree with it, there's a good chance that you're fucking wrong, especially when it's a controversial thought. There's just a good chance. So anyway, point is, they were just making all these awful parallels and juxtapositions while saying, you're being a hypocrite, you're being a hypocrite. It's like, you're just being stupid. So I'm saying all this after I recorded the other 2 videos, the one where I was going in depth about this stupid ass, you know, response I was getting from everyone, and also outside of recording part 2. So when I put up those videos, I'll have some of these things mentioned in them, but I was like, you know what, let me just put this up in between because I'm still trying to figure out just how crazy this video is gonna get before I actually react or anything. So anyway, I feel like I'm explaining myself for no reason. They're not gonna listen. They don't want to listen. They're just upset and they want to prove that my video wasn't worth watching. That's it. That's why they gave the bad advice. That's why they're like, do all this stuff that's gonna suppress your video, suppress it, even though everyone else is doing the opposite and I'm not attacking them. It's because I'm small. So they're just like, yeah, do all this stuff. They're not trying to actually understand me. And, you know, I know people say ignore comments, but again, if you're small and people slander you in your comment section, then everyone's just going to see that and not watch. And you get canceled and you never grow. So I don't owe you guys anything. I'm gonna make whatever thumbnails I want and whatever titles I want because they were relevant to the fucking topic. You're just mad that my thumbnails work. You're mad that my titles work. Holy fuck. Like, I hate people's criticism because it's just so dumb. People were saying, oh, you're repetitive, you're repetitive. And it's like, I never said that being repetitive was a bad thing. I said that having nothing to add and then being repetitive about that nothing. Like, there's not a single thought-provoking point. Just one would make it worth it. They somehow took that and said, you're calling someone repetitive? But just look at this comment. Look at how many times this guy repeats himself. And it's so funny, this happens to me all the time. People will comment on my video and say, you're just so repetitive, you repeat yourself all the time. I get so sick of hearing how repetitive you are. And I'm like, well, you just repeated yourself 3 times. Humans are repetitive. And YouTubers are even more repetitive than a human being, which I explained in this video. And you don't know anything about that because you don't make videos, so you don't know how hard it is. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys that real quick because this was just embarrassing. Thanks. Next point. You're not welcome, okay? Yeah, thanks again for anybody who actually was listening to what I had to say, because hearing controversial thoughts and things that you don't necessarily agree with can be hard. It takes mental work to listen to other people's perspectives that are different than yours, and that deserves to be commended. So I'm just going to post some of the comments that I actually appreciated here. I haven't done that in a while. I really should go back through my old videos and grab some of you guys' supportive comments, because I said that I would start posting them at the end of my videos, but yeah, that's all I had to say. There were so many people who were just like, you said that they should comment on stuff when it's small, but you yourself said that you knew about the drama when it was small, and so why didn't you do a video on it at the time? Well, if you actually listened to what I said, I specifically said I was working on a video 2 years ago, and then I unwillingly had to leave YouTube for 2 years. And I said so much more that would have stopped you from commenting something so stupid. I said that I was working on a video about stealing from other channels and that I had a thought that I was formulating. So not only was it not finished, that's why I was archiving videos that I want to bring up with this and work on it. And in that case, am I supposed to just reach enlightenment and be this psychic who can see into the future and see what my finished thought would be on a subject before it's finished? But on top of that, I specifically said, if you're not going to comment on drama when it's small, meaning whether you saw it or not, if you were not there to comment on it when it was small, then if you're going to comment on it when it's big, you have to add to the conversation in order to prevent making the drama worse. Quick thing about that, these fucking dummies were telling me, how you just gonna click into it with these other channels? When did I ever lump him in? The video, the first thing I said, I put it at the beginning so you guys wouldn't say all this dumb shit, was that his situation got so bad because of the drama channels. That directly separates him from them. Like, y'all literally are not listening. But they really just going up in the comment section, dissecting and just like trying to pinpoint hypocrisy. They're just like, you're talking about virtue signaling, but you virtue signaled. I never said don't virtue signal. I specifically said use when people virtue signal as an opportunity to learn more about them. If anything, I was encouraging virtue signaling because I said it gives you an opportunity to learn more about who people are. It's like they heard the word virtue signal and then they thought, just from hearing the word, it triggered them to what most people say, which is that most people complain about virtue signaling, which there are some legitimate complaints for it, but I was not doing that. I said use it as an opportunity, and they just turned their brain off. And then they had the nerve to say that I was being an emotional thinker while saying that they were connecting to the emotion in my video. They're like, oh, you know, I can feel the emotion. That means that you're having an emotional reaction to my emotion, which means right now your perspective is an emotional thought. You can be emotional and think logically. You can speak logically and have an emotional reaction. How you speak and how you think are two different things. But you guys don't know anything about that, even though I talk about it all the fucking time on my channel, because you're all fucking stupid, and that's why I hate human beings. So all of you can go fuck yourself. If you've made it this far in the video and you feel like that, obviously this isn't going to be a video that you want to watch. So I recommend you click the fuck off, get some self-control, because you're not going to slander me in my fucking comment section. And I really don't give a fuck about your stupid ass opinion. Y'all don't know how to listen. Wow. I cannot believe it. I had to watch this video over again. When you guys know from in this video, I am sick of hearing my voice. And that's what makes YouTubers so repetitive, having to hear yourself on repeat all the time. I had to watch this video over again because I got this comment. Let me show it to you. These long ass walls of comments. They're saying it's ironic that you're complaining about low quality YouTube content when you got a fact wrong within the first few minutes. That means you only watched the first few minutes for this to be your comment. First of all, I'll get back into that in a minute. You can read the rest of that if you want to. I'm trying to save time here in this long ass video. And then this person says, yeah, in a lot of videos covering the topic, Click is categorized as being accused of being a pedophile. Some quickly correct themselves and some don't. Watched several videos, had comments she didn't accuse him of outright being a pedophile. Did I ever say Illuminaughtii accused him of being a pedophile? And it is causing people to suffer. You are part of the problem. The reason why this guy was falsely accused of being a is partially on all of you big commentary channels for not talking about this woman when she was creating controversy years ago. From what I heard from other videos that I can't fucking find because of the oversaturation of keywords and all this content from people talking about shit that's unimportant, so I can't even show you the proof. And then they gonna get on me in the comment section with that shit too. I saw multiple videos saying that people were calling him a file because of the posts that she made about him enabling pedophilia. That's what I was referencing. So out of this entire video, all the points that I'm making, all you do is type a long ass comment and reply with your long ass comments about me getting this tiny thing slightly wrong. Even if I had meant what the fuck you guys were talking about, which I did not. You say that, and then that's the first thing people are gonna see and be like, oh, I don't wanna watch her video because she's wrong from the very start. So yeah, I fucking deleted that comment because that's not what the fuck I meant. And I know people are gonna say, well, you're taking away people's freedom of speech. My comment section is not a place for you guys to encourage people to not watch my content. I don't know what makes you think you have the right to do that, but you don't. And people can make whatever fucking arguments they want, but that is not a place for my comment section. And this is again why we need to attach watch time to people's comments. Because if the watch time said, oh, this person only saw 0.3% of the video, then you'll know not to listen to that fucking comment because they didn't actually hear out everything that I had to say. And then there's a clip where I say, it's like every 3 months someone's being accused of being a pedophile. They're gonna take that out of context too and be like, oh, so you're saying he was accused of being called a pedophile by Illuminaughtii? When did I ever fucking say her name? When did I ever say she accused him of that? So you're the one getting fucking facts wrong because I never said the thing you said that I said. But people are gonna defend this comment and say, oh, they're just technically wrong, Karina. It is easy for someone to assume that that's what you meant, but I didn't say it though, and you said that I said Illuminaughtii specifically called him one. So you're the one who got the fucking fact wrong. Holy shit. And I kept going back and forth on this because I didn't want people to say, oh, you're spamming the subject, you're clout chasing for talk about this in 4 videos. I'm putting up 4 videos total because I still want to put up that part 2 since I said I wanted to fucking do it and you guys made this big deal out of nothing. So there is going to be that part 2 eventually, but it could be technically part 4. The point is there are going to be 4 videos where the thumbnails are probably going to be connected to this whole thing because it does directly connect. The reason why I put these thumbnails the way that I do is because I want that audience to watch the video since that is in connection of what I'm talking about. I'm literally saying this is how we get a sad milk situation. So yes, I'm probably going to put something about the sad milk situation in the thumbnail. I got a comment that said, well, you should have titled your video that they're not the only problem. You are the problem. You are the actual source that caused the whole thing. If you were the seed that grew the weed that turned into the giant fucking forest of bullshit, then you are the problem. Now, I am mistaken for assuming that the commentary channels were the problem, but I thought that they were on that first video. But thanks to all your fucking bullshit, I realized it's you guys. You caused it all. If it wasn't for you guys, we would not be here right now. If you were more critical and more intelligent, we wouldn't be here right now. So no, I'm not gonna put, you're not the only problem. I'm gonna put, you are the problem again, and I'm gonna point right at your ass because it's you. And anybody who gets offended, that means you know that it's you, or else you wouldn't be upset. You wouldn't think that it's directed at you, you fucking dummy. So y'all can try to come up in the comment section and say, she's just doing this for clout. You're getting deleted, bitch. You're getting deleted. I don't care. Yeah, I love doubling down on dumb bitches. I don't give a fuck, because you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I seriously want to hear somebody make an argument for why I should allow someone's free speech to censor me. I want to hear somebody tell me why I should allow people to go into my comment section and summarize my video completely and correct me and accuse me of things I never said or did so that people pause and read the comments and not watch. Please tell me why that's okay, because you sound fucking dumb. Like, absolutism is so frustrating because, for example, people are just like, oh, well, you were saying that he was making light of the situation, but then you made a couple jokes about him. Yeah, he wasn't being accused of doing horrible things. He's not in a very serious situation. He's just making a bunch of dumb commentary on a video. I think it's okay to trivialize his experience because it's trivial. That's not hypocritical. And they're just like, well, for you to make jokes in this situation but criticize someone for making jokes, like, this absolutist mindset is all or nothing. So what they're basically doing is saying, if you criticize somebody for doing this bad thing here in this very complex, nuanced situation, but then somebody just does a fraction of that in a completely unrelated thing, those are exactly the same. And then they literally go on my comment section saying, you did the same thing as that person. How is it the same thing when they're completely different? You told people that they should talk about it when it first starts, but you didn't talk about it when it first starts. I said that, or if you're going to comment on the situation when it's popular, add something. Those are two different things. You're not recalling it correctly because you're fucking dumb. Also, and mind you about the fucking tone thing, I'm just gonna fucking say it. Men fucking scream and yell all the time. Humorously, seriously, angrily, happily, and people don't give a shit. They literally screaming. And people are just like, great video. But if you raise your voice as a fucking woman, everybody has a problem with it. They're like, your voice, your tone, oh my god, the tone police fucking come. Fuck you. Fuck you guys for my tone, okay? You know how many popular YouTubers yell in their videos? I'm gonna actually show you one. When I cover mental illness, whenever those videos come out, you're gonna see a guy who is screaming, and he's a popular YouTuber, screaming at mentally disabled people. You'll see that fucking clip if you stick around. And everyone's okay with that. But me yelling at you guys for fucking being pieces of shit is a problem. I wonder why. I wonder what the difference is. Because the only difference I see is that I'm smaller and I'm a woman. More absolutist examples. Your thumbnail is clickbaity, but you're calling him a clout chaser. How are those the same fucking thing? I said that he's clout chasing because he's commenting on a popular subject and adding nothing to it and actually making it worse, if anything. That is not the same as using clickbait in a thumbnail. Clickbait is not clout chasing. It is clickbait. It's called clickbait for a reason. It can be clout chasing, but it is not in and of itself clout chasing. So that's not a fucking critique. And you know what? I'm so sick of saying that it's clickbaiting because that's what they said, because it's not even that. It's just eye-catching. It is an eye-catching thumbnail. Like, y'all are out of y'all mind. Because when people say bait, they usually mean you're making us think it's something when it's not. It's exactly what the fuck I said it was. They were literally saying, you were talking about insults, but you insulted him. Yes, I talked about it, but what did I say about it? My biggest pet peeve with comments, the #1 comment I hate, is when people say, you talked about, you said things about. And then they say, but then you criticize someone for insert same general subject here. They're not the same fucking thing. Just because one word connects the two, like clout chasing or drama or insults or virtue signaling. You know, the comments that say, you were talking about virtue signaling, but then you virtue signaled. I said use it as an opportunity. How is that me being a hypocrite? I'm encouraging virtue signaling. But they do that. And then people just read the comments and they're like, oh, she talked about that and then was a hypocrite about it? Oh, I'm not gonna watch. So yeah, I'm deleting your fucking comments. So I'm just gonna lay this out one more time for anybody who's hard of hearing, which is another thing that makes people repetitive, is that they feel like they gotta repeat themselves because y'all don't listen. The way that we get to people being accused of being pedophiles, people being accused of doing horrible things, being bullies, and basically getting slandered and canceled unjustifiably and manipulated and stalked over years is because of you, the commenters. You're the ones who start it, and then it snowballs. The whole point of a snowball effect is that it starts off microscopically and then it becomes this big thing. So you cannot see it at first. But YouTube is a place where people are not allowed to express themselves because of the commenters. Because people will pause the video, read the comments, and not want to watch. And people will slander you in the comment section, summarize the video into something that it wasn't, and encourage people not to watch, or attack you for things you didn't say, or things you didn't mean, or something that you did say and you just regret, which I did not. But people will say things and regret it at times, and they get attacked for that when it's just a simple mistake. It gets exaggerated because of this absolutist mindset. So that then creates an incentive for YouTubers to only post content that's pleasant for people to hear, which is why even if I could fix my tone, even if I could fix the way I say stuff, I just do this anyway because you guys do not deserve for me to fucking do that, because it's part of the problem that you cannot understand and listen to and tolerate opinions that are different from your own to any degree. To any degree is the key word for people who are going to take that out of context. So when that happens, these YouTubers then make all this friendly content where even if they say something controversial, they try to say it in a way that everyone's okay with, which defeats the purpose of saying something controversial, but you get the point. It's faux controversy. And they make this commentary, they make light of things, which trivializes it, which allows these horrible people to get away with more and more bad things until we get to a point where somebody's getting exposed and canceled for something that they didn't do. It all starts with you. And a big solution to this, and it's not the only one, I'm sure there's plenty other things we can do, but one thing that will really make this hard for people to keep doing, making these bot accounts, these alt accounts harassing people, is if we attach viewers' watch time to their comments. Because we have to hold people accountable. You cannot be an anonymous account and have no accountability. If you're not going to attach someone's phone number to their account, which I'm not saying you should, but TikTok does that, which is why TikTok doesn't have this big of a problem with bot accounts and stuff and all this slander. They still have it, but it's not as bad as YouTube. If you're not going to attach someone's phone number or their social security or anything, then you have to attach the watch time. You have to attach something that proves whether or not they're actually being constructive, and that's a really good one. If you guys have any other suggestions for how to hold commenters accountable, please put in the description. If I see enough, I'll do some like Karena's View videos. Those are my short videos where I like cover that or something. But we got to do something to fix this shit. Like, I don't care if people got to make a hashtag watchtimeviewers or whatever the fuck it has to be. I don't care what lengths we have to go to. We have to do something, get in contact with somebody where we can fix this thing. And I don't know who to contact. I don't know how to do this. So if you guys can think of any way where I can actually push this and a change can be made, like contact someone, please let me know. Because something needs to change. So anyway, with all that being said, thank you to all the supportive comments that actually heard what the fuck I had to say. Thank you to the few people who had an emotional reaction and then corrected themselves and were like, oh, I'm sorry, I get where you're coming from now, and took a second back to listen. They're like, the rage bait, the clickbait. It's like, I'm allowed to make eye-catching thumbnails and eye-catching video titles. None of that has anything to do with the actual content in the video. You're more angry about a thumbnail and a title than all these people talking about shit that's making something worse? So anyway, now that that's been fucking addressed, we can get into part 2.